Hello and welcome into episode 2 of Purple Tie Guy Sports. I am the guy in the purple tie. My name is Brandon Pavlina. Thank you so much for tuning in wherever and however you are doing so. Just a couple of topics I want to tackle this week. The NBA Summer League has recently come to a close. Want to talk about that. Going to go into Lonzo Ball and his performance in the NBA Summer League. And last but certainly not least, want to talk about the Las Vegas Golden Knights. So without wasting any more time, let's dive right into our first topic of the week. According to Nielsen, which is a television audience measurement system, viewership of the 25 NBA Summer League games that were broadcast on ESPN and ESPN2 were up 51% from last year, which is a pretty significant spike. So I want to take a look at the why. Why was there this sudden infatuation for the NBA Summer League? And there's definitely something to be said for the influx of talent from this year's NBA draft, specifically at the top of the draft, when you're talking about guys like Markelle Fultz, Jason Tatum, Josh Jackson, De'Aaron Fox, and of course, there's also the Lonzo Ball factor, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But the talent from this year's draft is definitely part of the reason why the Summer League garnered so much attention this year. But I would also argue that part of the reason why so much attention was paid to the Summer League, and to free agency for that matter, is because there's really so little to be concerned with when it comes to the regular season and the playoffs, as long as the Golden State Warriors have the team that they currently do and now will for the foreseeable future. At this point, NBA fans want anything to pique their interest, and they're trying to grab onto anything that will pique their interest, because the games that actually matter don't hardly matter at all when you have the super team of all super teams out there being able to just run through everybody in both the regular season and the postseason and take the fun and entertainment out of the sport. Which, in case you're wondering, yes, is another way of me saying that Kevin Durant has ruined the NBA. So don't be surprised this year when the NBA and sports media outlets are reaching for storylines throughout the season to try to maintain interest as a result of there seemingly being no real competition or question as to who is going to win the title year in and year out. So next I want to talk about Lonzo Ball, as if he hasn't already been talked about enough. I mean, there's no denying that Lonzo Ball and his father are polarizing. I mean, so much so that for a few weeks there, ESPN was inundated with the numbers that Lonzo was putting up while wearing different brands of shoes. And his numbers were impressive, and they deserved attention. But there has to be some credence in the fact that it is the Summer League, and the fact that these teams are running incredibly simplistic offensive and defensive schemes. And of course, the fact that the talent level is nowhere near the caliber of the NBA rosters that he'll be facing in the regular season. And I don't think there's anybody who would argue with those points or wouldn't acknowledge them. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Ball, but rather I just think expectations may need to be curtailed to some extent. Yes, he won the Las Vegas League MVP, but the last 3 players to have won that award include Glenn Rice Jr., Kyle Anderson, and Tyus Jones. Guys who to this point haven't really established themselves as elite players in the league. And that's not my way of saying that Lonzo won't be elite, because I certainly believe he's going to be an incredible talent in the NBA for many years to come. But I would anticipate it taking a year or two for him to be able to establish himself and come into his own in the league. I mean, hell, the kid's only 19 years old. And not only that, he's going to be on a young and developing Lakers team who are in an increasingly talented and an increasingly difficult Western Conference. So while it's possible that Lonzo will come in and take the league by storm, I would expect it still to take more time than a lot of people are assuming it will following his impressive Summer League performance. Last but certainly not least, I want to talk about the Vegas Golden Knights. According to team owner Bill Foley in a report by Forbes magazine, the Golden Knights are already one of the highest grossing teams in the NHL in terms of annual ticket revenue. They're outpacing teams like the Philadelphia Flyers, the Boston Bruins, and even the reigning Stanley Cup champion Pittsburgh Penguins. And I know most people might say that the numbers are as a result of the franchise being brand new, and people tend to gravitate towards new and exciting ventures early on. But I think more significantly, it just proves that the Las Vegas market is hungry for a professional sports franchise. If an NHL team, which many consider to be the fourth out of the four major sports in America, if an NHL team can draw that much attention and excitement from Las Vegas fans, then it's not unreasonable to imagine that there will be even more excitement and even more fan engagement when the Raiders move to Vegas in 2020. And going even one step further than that, if the Golden Knights and the Raiders can prove that Vegas has a strong enough fan base to support multiple professional sports franchises, then there's no reason to think that somewhere in the maybe not so distant future, we may see the MLB and the NBA in Las Vegas. Well, that's going to do it for episode 2 of Purple Tie Guy Sports. Once again, I am the guy in the purple tie. My name is Brandon Pavlina. Thank you so much for tuning in wherever and however you chose to do so, and I will talk to you again soon.